guys, it's Evan here. Before I start this video, I'd like to say a few words. This video is going to be a long one. It's going to be about 2 hours long. It covers the entire process from when I got this thing to where it is now. It is also a little bit of language in there, so viewer discretion is advised. But anyways, I'd like to thank a few people before I get into this. First, I'd like to dedicate this video to a good friend of mine. I knew him. I only talked to him once in person, but we talked to each other a lot over phone and text, and he also helped me a lot with learning a lot of this stuff, and that's Tom Diener. Me and him were decent buddies, but we weren't the closest, so I'm not going to be like, yeah, I knew him very well and blah blah blah, I was his best buddy, because I didn't. But he was there enough in my life, especially towards the end, where he has helped me out so much with this that it hurt me. It just seeing me and all my friends after we learned about his passing, it just hurt all of us. He helped me a lot with this and helped me understand a lot, and he's also got me something that hasn't even come down yet, that it will be coming in the future, but he helped me with that too. So first and foremost, I'd like to dedicate this entire video to Tom. But I'd also like to thank a few other people. Josh Schmerler, he helped me a lot with the control portion, Wi-Fi switches, wiring, and a whole bunch of other stuff, so I'd like to give a big thanks to him. Preston Schaefer, he helped me out by allowing me to set this off at his place twice. I really appreciate that, man. Alfie, appreciate you as well, man. He helped me a lot with the electrical stuff. That man is a genius. I can't even comprehend some of his thinking level. John Crick, Ramfet, as many of you know, he helped me a lot with the paint. Told me how to do it and how I had to do it, fiberglass repair and whatnot. And there's a bunch of others I can name, but one more. John Vestina out of Fulton. He's the one who allowed me to buy this siren, which came from, we think, Hoffman Estates or Schaumburg, most likely. But I appreciate him for letting me be able to purchase this and having the big experience of refurbishing this. This wasn't an easy task, but here I am. So yeah, there's a lot of other people who helped in the background as well. I just can't think of them off the top of my head, but you guys know who you are, and I really appreciate every single one of you. And yeah, let's get right into the video. There she is, the controller. Very heavy, very big. Strapped down, ready to go. I think it's ready. I got cardboard here to soften it on the side of the road because this was shifting a little bit. So one here to stop from going forward or backwards, but one here to stop that from going forward. And I got the horn double down there. This is on my next bed. This ain't moving nowhere. This thing's heavy. Even if it does jiggle around a little bit, shouldn't matter. But yeah, that's where we're at. So here it is apart. Took it apart last night with the help of a bunch of other enthusiasts. Thank you guys all for that. You guys know who you are. But yeah, it's an advanced motor. 72 volts, of course. Serial number 35. I don't know what half of the other information means, but it's the same gear ratio and reducer as an alerter or P10, P15. That is the same. The only thing different is everything else in front of us on PN-20 or an RM130. They're the same siren. Everything below is almost exactly identical to an alerter, P10, P15. Other than these two wires right there, those go to the stator heaters, meaning this was definitely refurbished by Fulton. They're usually the ones who, at least that I know, put stator heaters on, and I don't think this wire was also from the factory. This is made to help prevent, well, this happening. Even though I think this happened on the ground, everything smells fresh. I think there was a squirrel living in here like in the past year. But yeah, this is the horn, same as a P10, P15. Nothing different. The only thing different is the actual like projector horn. This you can consider like the horn cover, the intake kind of, and this is like the projector. All 9 ports hook up to each of them, and this is what actually projects this out. So here's what I like to call the doghouse. It had silicone put in here, and from what I was told, it was because when the guys were up in the truck and they dropped hardware, they I guess didn't have hardware with them, and they didn't want to go all the way back down, so they just put silicone in here to make sure water wouldn't get in. Because, well, I will admit, ACA or ASC did this is plenty of bolts, like overbuilt the amount of bolts to hold down this. But yeah, here's the side I haven't cleaned up. You can see the silicone there. So yeah, that's really about it. It is free. It worked when it came off the pole, and I can do a quick spin. It does rotate, and it works great. Bearings aren't bad either. I'm gonna move this. It's gonna. See, unlike this is all made in America. Yeah, really freaky design, very efficient design, I would say. It uses this entire big cast stator here, and it uses it as structural, it looks like, and of course your ports, because it's the stator, opens and closes the ports, you know, every normal siren. So yeah, not too much else other than everything looks really nice and should work. And yeah, I'm gonna get on working on the doghouse because that needs work. For the first time ever using a tap for threads, I think I did pretty good. I ended up angle grinding the old ones that got absolutely seized in there. So I decided I'm gonna pull an ASC and do what they did to Holly's loiter, and we're just gonna put nice new threads and new hardware. I have to do this 4 more times. I did the same. Well, this one actually came out, but I have to make a new bolt hole because it's gonna be off center now. But this one had some fun with the angle grinder. It should not affect anything. It's just the stator. This one, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you can see it. Also angle grinded. And this one over here was also angle grinded. Let me see. Yeah, right there. Angle grinded. So I gotta drill and tap all those. Other than that, everything else is fine. Other than Squirrel went out and shoots these stator heater wires. I have Scotch-Brite. I'm gonna clean all that up. And those collector, okay. That's some deep pitting on those collector rings. Like very deep pitting. I hope that doesn't do much.
Is this for Alfie?
No. I really hope that doesn't do much. Oh my gosh, they're like...
What?
How did that even happen? Look at that. Collector rings are just gnawed up. Am I even going to be able to repair that?
We could get, well, we can't cast them, I don't think. I mean, we can mold them.
Alright, one of the hardest parts is done. Drilled and tapped new holes for each of the horn bolts. Yeah, don't look at that. Don't look how off that is. No, you can't. You don't see that. This one's good too. They all line up. Even though this one's really off, they line up, and that's all that matters. I had a little fun with the angle grinder last night. But yep, all new taps. I drilled and tapped all new 5/16 holes because these were not going to come out, and it's just easier at that point to drill and tap, which was very easy because this is all aluminum. So yeah, should not affect any structural, even though this as that. I don't think that's going to do anything because the movement's down here, not all the way up here, so it should be fine. So yeah, that's where we're at now. And down here, we get to work down here soon. I need to move these from these collector rings. I need to put them on the top two. These bottom two collector rings are bad, so I got to move these motor wires over to the other side. And then I also have to come down here and throw the motor wires up through there. Man, that's gonna be a tough job. That might be the hardest part of this whole thing. But once that's done, the head should be ready to fly. All right, let's do some motor testing. I'm gonna test the two leads. They should have a short. They should be. Oh, there it goes. Let's see. What's our resistance? I don't know why somebody's honking at me. Oh, they're honking at some kids behind me. Start flipping. I have no idea what they're talking about. So let's test this. Let me zoom this out. 1.5, 1.6. I don't have a good connection here. Let me get a better condition. It should be about 1.0, 1.1. Tested it earlier. Just wanted to get it on video. There, 1.3, yeah. So this motor is good. Hopefully, it was not struck by anything. I was told it came great off the pole. So, yep, should be all set. I did end up moving those wires over. Those collector rings are clean up on top. Now I'm waiting for tomorrow. Tomorrow I should be getting that welding wire. I gotta fish that through those holes down there and connect them to the posts. And then we should be ready to get working on the controller. Finally, all this stuff on the head is done. So yeah, see you then. Down here is where they cut the conduit. That's gonna be a pain. So, yes, we are doing the impossible. We got one through, we need one more, but it looks like Fulton may have drilled this out to be very big. And that's the one stud that we need. Of course, we need this stud, and I'm just slowly feeding all the way until the end here. I got stripped, and I'm just slowly feeding it. I actually use this. It's a thing you get like fish hooks out of. And I went down here to the conduit. Here, let me turn the flashlight on. So down here at the conduit, all I did was reach in there and grab the wire with my little fish grabber, and then started by pulling it through. So this is possible, especially with some thinner wire. This is 4-gauge welding wire. Should be enough for the motor. But yeah, me and my grandpa here, we're just having fun doing this. Guys, we did the impossible. That's 2 brand new wires.
Well, it got the outside liner though.
Where?
See a little.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
We can put shrink wrap on that. But oh my gosh, we did it. This tool. If anybody's wondering, you use these to get hooks out of like fish with teeth. This thing is a savior for these. Ingenuity is, I should say, necessity is all needs of ingenuity, which means you find the dumbest stuff and somehow it works. But yep, we got 2 of them through. Also, WD-40 really helps lubrication with these holes. So now we just got to pull these through, but WD-40 makes that easy. So yep, the hardest part of the project is done. And now all I got to do is connect them to the collector rings. And the head is ready to go. All right. Yes. Oh, and the chain looks a little rusty. Probably needs some grease too. But yep. There she goes, boys. Let her rip. I'm thinking this area could use a little bit more coverage. They're in the works. One day we'll get it hooked up.
But now I gotta get it running. Man, this shit sucks. Oh, this shit. Breathing in rust. That's good for you guys. You should definitely breathe in this stuff. You know, it's very healthy for, you know, the lungs. Yes. Do it. The board is out. Stripping a bunch of useless garbage off of it. Got 3 blown fuses here. Gonna get those replaced. All these fuses up here are good. It gives me hope that these battery chargers might actually be okay. So we're just stripping down stuff we don't need. But yeah, we'll get back to it. So that's hooked up right now. That goes right over to the test button. Junction block, and yep. The whole board. Oh, relays. This was all put in by John. He did a pretty good job, kept it pretty clean. Very nice. Good to actually, you know, work on somebody else's crap who knew what they were doing.
Okay, I got it on.
Okay.
Okay, I see all green lights.
Green lights on all 6. Heard the relay click, so the relays are working. Yeah, that looks great.
No smoke.
Nice. So I'm gonna unplug it. No longer live. You ever just want to like eat paint chips? Like, I got an unlimited supply of this shit, bro. Yummy. Paint time, I should say. Primer time. I suck at this. This is one of my first times I've ever done this. So I'm gonna have to do a few layers. Make sure that's decent. But it really doesn't matter too much as long as all the area is covered, because I'm brushing yellow paint down anyway. The only paint that's going to be just primer is going to be on the inside. Lock in that rust so the rust doesn't spread, or more like corrosion. Not too much rust left. Took a long while to wire brush and everything. And I've got some of this, I don't know what this is. It's like rust remover stuff. What's the name? If you ever have a very rusty cabinet, get this stuff. It's evapor rust. Get a ton of it. Get a big tub. Put your shit in it. Yeah, this thing works like magic. You just let it sit. But I'm working on the battery cabinet. This is the biggest pain in the ass, and I got bored, so I'm like, I want to start painting. So I am now painting the controls portion of the battery cabinet. So yeah, that's where we're at. Got that side, 1 layer coat, I should say. Gotta put another coat on these. So yeah, progress is being made. It's only been like 2 weeks since I've gotten the thing. Maybe I need to slow down. No. Well, I couldn't get all the rust out, so I just decided seal it and forget about it, because I'm not getting all those pits out, and the rust shouldn't go anywhere with primer and sealant. I put a sealer on there too. So painting is done, at least priming. The yellow paint will be coming, I don't know, in about a week or 2. Because I bought it from fucking Walmart's website, which has a bunch of different sellers on it. I couldn't find the paint I wanted on anywhere else. It was a decent price. So that's coming. I put tape over the enclosure stickers, so I kept those. And I also have some custom stickers coming. You know, the warning stickers, ACA stickers, all that. They're all coming. What's going on here? Oh, it's just dust. Hopefully this rust doesn't poke through or anything. This one's been done for a few days now. A little bit of something here. That's surface stuff, that's moisture. But yeah, I should definitely get something for moisture. And yeah, both cabinets are done. This is the controls, that's the battery. These arms were so rusted and corroded that they're still coming through the paint. I put like 3 layers on it. and it's still peeking through. So at this point, I don't care. When they're in the cabinet, they're not gonna get much moisture anyway, so they should kind of stop rusting, at least slow. These are the small arms that hold the battery trays in. These are really hard to prep the surface. I even put them in that rust stuff that gets rid of the rust. Wouldn't even go through the rust that was on here because of the battery acid. Make sure if anybody owns a battery powered sirens not to let those explode in your fucking enclosure. This sucks to clean out. So yep, we're gonna be moving on to building how the heck we're gonna get these around. So this here is the post. It is a 4x6 and it is gonna be used to mount the cabinets. I'm gonna cut a little bit off the top, but this is gonna be an interesting design, and once it's done, or in the middle of it, I'll go through it more. But I've got plans written out for a pretty sturdy cart. Ain't gonna be too cheap, but this thing is easily 300 pounds when everything's in it, 6 batteries and whatnot, so it needs to be built pretty sturdy. So yeah, I'll see you then. Anybody else's wallet just get a lot lighter? Because I'm feeling it. Now we can finally actually test the thing. But the main question is, will these battery chargers work? Because I had 3 blown fuses. Either the old batteries blew up, caused these fuses to blow, or these chargers are broken and they caused the fuses to blow. Let's hope it was the latter, because, well, not the latter. Let's hope it was the batteries, and I'm almost certain it was the batteries, because in the cabinet there was battery acid literally on the door, which means it had to have sprayed or blown up to even get there. So I think a few batteries that were in this last blew up, and that's what happened here. So yeah, we're almost ready, but I still gotta paint the battery cabinet, get it prepped and stuff before I can really do much. But yep, controls have been bypassed, aka fuse no longer being used. And yep, we're getting ready. So guys, I got everything in the garage now, other than the head. Head's still out on the deck. But I've got this little platform here. I was supposed to get my wheels from Amazon today for, both of these carts. However, apparently the package was damaged. So it got sent back to Amazon and they're sending me new stuff. So I'm mounting the controls to this 4x6. So it's going to be used for the control mounting. I think I'm going to have to cut it a little short. But that's okay, I'll just take the saws out of that, I don't care. But this bottom control box is just, I got 2 bolts in it right now just to keep it centered. And I'm putting this top one on now. So you can see it's not quite lined up. But I'm getting everything just drawn out, so everything's nice and ready to go by July, when I have to actually test this thing, sound it off. But it'll look, I have to take these completely off anyway to paint them yellow. So this is just connecting everything together for now. The conduit in between, I'm not even going to put anything in there other than maybe some waterproof tape so water doesn't get in the battery box. But yeah, because I can't be in here all the time because we got a boat that comes in here, so I got to get out of here, build this as fast as I can. But let's just say stuff came a long way on my 1 day off I have this week. So yeah, that's where we're at. And soon, hopefully I'll have the head on that with some wheels underneath it. And this will be upright, and it will have a big base with some wheels on it, so I can roll this around instead of having to carry it, because this is easily 100 pounds of cabinet right here. Steel. This sucks, but soon it won't suck. So yeah, that's what we're doing. So we got this thing mounted, and it's just sitting in the corner. This thing is massive. I hope my cart that I'm going to be building for it can take it, but cut a little bit off the top. I'm going to be putting an eye bolt up there and a ratchet strap, kind of like what Connor did with his electronic stand. However, this one is going to be a lot more doubled up and bigger because, well, this easily here weighs 200 pounds. With the board back there, it's probably more like 250. With the batteries, it's going to be close to 400 pounds. It's going to suck. But yeah, we're almost ready to give this a test run. See you then. Well, she's ready. Controls are ready. we figured everything out. Yeah, let me give her a quick flip that guy on. Contactor working, test button works. We are ready to give it all 72. Right now I got it hooked up to 24 because this is a 24 volt contactor. So it can run on 24 volts, but of course you can pass 70 through to it. But yeah, I'm just happy that works. So that means nothing's wrong here yet. I haven't tested the battery chargers yet. All the issues would be there, but I did not see any issues there. So we're gonna give it a growl maybe later tomorrow because I have to work soon. But yep, we're looking really good. Air protection. Ready? I wanted to do a full rotation just of growls. Was that too loud, do you think?
No.
No?
That it's probably okay, but
You gotta
probably
work.
not more.
There's arcing in there, dude.
Yeah, where's the, I think it was over here on the
Yeah.
contactor.
That should be normal, right?
Okay, ready? Put your hearing, I'm gonna do one more quick growl.
Why is it, what's going on over there?
So what you're seeing is because contactors aren't really meant to go on off like that. We're seeing arcing at the contactor. That's what that blue light is. That's the contactor. And that's 72 volts jumping across the contactor.
Is that spark?
That's an arc.
That's
It's
a
like
dark
you saw how it was blue. That was electricity jumping from and that's the contactor pulling it apart to stop power from going to the head. Take two. Protection. DC.
What's wrong?
One more. Just one. Sorry. It's the first time in a long time that this RM130's had 24 of its bolts in the doghouse. Can't really see it, but I put all 24 bolts in. Put it all back together. We had an issue because we weren't that bright, but putting in the center of the projector horn, it's really hard to see because of how dark it is. If I put this in the projector horn here, it would not go on for us because the one marker that was on here was not the top slot. So I had to go back in a picture and look where this little defect was in the fiberglass casting of the horn there, and it was facing in that direction. So we finally figured out after like an hour and a half of how this freaking inside projector goes on. Then of course the horn, we put anti-seize on these main bolts here so it wouldn't seize in the aluminum and snap off, so it can be in there for a while. But yep, everything is back together. This thing is ready. So quite a lot has happened since our last behind the scenes stuff. I took this thing to a little event that I had with Preston and everybody to get it its first test, and I'm glad I did there because I'll show the video now.
I got it. Now we're recording.
Here we go. Hell yeah, let's pull the chopper, guys. Oh, all right. She's right there. There we go. There she is. Oh, I think is that enough material? But it decided it wanted to self adjust its clearance because this bearing is shot. Doesn't spin very good, but it also has play. The rear bearing on these, I didn't know, is held in with a clip in the back housing. So I'm taking this and the armature of the motor into a shop. It looks fine. The armature looks fine. It's just old. Needs to be reworked. There's the commutator. Very dirty. Needs to be reworked. Here's the chopper. It just got a little graze. It'll be fine. And no, it wouldn't have P50'd itself because it just would have self-clearanced itself until the bearing play no longer hit the stator. But everything else is fine. Came apart with decent ease. There's the windings and the coils. They're okay still. They're dirty, but I can clean those up. I'm not gonna pay for them to do that. Here's the rotator gearbox. I'm very thankful that the seals on this are still okay. Not the greatest, and it does need an oil change, but I think the seals will hold. So, yep, that came off. This was a little bit harder to get off. They come off very fine. But, yeah, other than that, everything else is good. The brushes actually look pretty good. I don't think I'm going to replace them. I think they're okay, because they're worn into the pattern of the motor already. And I don't need to spend the extra money on that, I don't think. What else? Oh, I got to tighten up the rotator, but it's really nice right now as it's kind of loose. If you ever wondered what a RM130 stator looks like, here you go. Look at the thick. I had a fun time getting this off. This was the hardest part, but I did get them all off. I have to get rid of all this corrosion, and that is the front bearing cap. It's built into the stator because ACA. Other than that, controls are the same. Old chart needs to be, some of the design needs to change. I need to put lag screws in a lot more places, but it's back up on the deck, charging the batteries, and that's all that matters. But yeah, this thing has been stripped down to its bare bones at this point. I mean, the only thing I left it to have to do is take the chain off, but I don't need to do that. It's all good down there. So yeah, that's where I've been, what I've been doing. And I'm about to take this to the motor shop, and they're gonna do it for about 200 bucks. clean everything up, which isn't that bad. And with the amount of money I already put in it, I want everything to be fine. And so, yep, that's what I'm gonna go do now. See you then. Gear reducer oil. So we're doing an oil change on the gear reducer. If you've never seen one of these on the inside, there you go. It's kind of hard to see, but it's easier to just take this front cap off. It's a little bearing sleeve and cap that goes on the top, and just fill it up from here. As you can see, I got the fill port way down. Where is it? Where's my finger? It's down there. You can see it right there. I tip my finger. That's the screw I have undone over here. That tells me when I'm about halfway. Put a little bit more than halfway full, and this should be all good. I repacked some grease in the bearing there. But yeah, that's what it looks like. You can see our worm gear over there. It goes to this big gear there, and that's how it reduces the speed from that gear to this one. And that's how it gets its, well, what is this? 60 to 1 gear ratio. And what is it? 2.5 RPM, 3 RPM? I forgot. But that's how the gear reducer works. It's quite simple and easy to do maintenance. Here's the old oil, sparkly, and it needs a change. So yeah, we're gonna do that. Pennzoil, 10W30, if anybody was wondering. I'm just putting 10W30 in it. Well, I've taken things to the next level. This thing needs all new gaskets. So this is actually what it looks like. You know, that goes down to the chain. It's just big gear here, and then you see the worm gear in there. So yeah, there's a little bit of a better look inside one of these. It's quite simple, but it needs some new gaskets, and yep. So I'm gonna see what I can do about that. Well, there it is, the rebuilt rotator, at least resealed. New oil seal in there. It's not leaking out of there like crazy. New oil seal down here. Nothing's leaking. Halfway full. Can't really see that it's halfway full, but it's halfway full. And I got new gaskets on. Yeah, and you have to cut and press all these out yourself. These are, I think, Feldpro Caro Pack gaskets. And this is a, I think this is a 1 or a 3/64 or 1/32. It's a little bit bigger than the original gaskets, but I don't think it's going to matter too much. I don't think that little amount is going to mess with the bearing play or anything. I've already tested, at least by hand, to make sure everything seals and rotates appropriately, and it does. So I'm not too worried about that. So yeah, it just takes a little bit of work and a few cut open fingers to rebuild one of these. You know what I forgot to do for the last week or two? Record behind this. Oh, you piece of garbage. Get out of my paint. A lot has happened. Basically, a bunch of boring stuff. Fiberglass repair, primer. Threw that on here. First coat of paint today. In my opinion, it looks like crap, but it's just the first roll on. I'm coming back with some spray paint. Same stuff. I'm gonna spray that stuff on and come back and finish it off. But yeah, it's actually looking really nice. I like the color. But that's the update. Other than that, nothing's really happened other than I got the motor back from the motor shop. I don't remember if I told you guys about that or not. That's all fixed. Now it's all cosmetics, and the last week has been me just sanding and putting on resin for fiberglass and then sanding again, so we don't get crap like this. You can slightly see that crack. Second coat of paint should cover that, but damn bugs, get out of my paint. Gonna be honest here, this looks like crap, but it is only the first coat. But of course, every fly and gnat around is immediately attracted to wet paint and just goes in the paint. So we'll just paint right over them. Fuck them. Yeah, I still got the inside to paint, but I think it looks pretty good. You guys spray it yet? Yeah, not much else other than what? Get out of my paint, bro. Bro. But yeah, I think it'll look fine. I'm just worried that even 2 coats. Funny thing is, I filled these cracks and sanded them back down with resin, and they're still popping through. I can't even feel that crack with my finger now. That's how thin that crack is. It's crazy how thin this paint is. There's primer underneath it too. I have no idea. So I hope spraying gets rid of that. I ain't probably gonna start spraying for a few days. Once this first coat dries tomorrow, I gotta flip that over and roll another coat. But then I'll start spraying soon, whenever I get the chance, because it's just been so busy with life recently. That's why I really haven't recorded, because I come home from work, sand, and then immediately go to bed to get up to work for the next day. So, yep, that's where we're at. I will see you when we start spraying. So it's been a little bit now. We got the second wind. Today's windy. Got the second coat on. Horn here. Still haven't painted the inside because I was waiting for, well, these. The biggest pain in the butt in this entire project are these massive steel cabinets. Those also have a second rolled on coat. I needed to roll a second one on because the first coat was very thin and cracks and stuff were still showing from the enamel that I repaired, but it still showed up. That rotator base looks actually amazing right now. But all of those that are currently painted need one more spray coat. And I think I'm gonna need more paint than a quart because I used an extra coat of paint already. So these tonight, once I get done with work, I'm gonna roll on the first coat on these, and I'm also gonna roll on the inside of the first yellow on the inside of that. That is staying gray because that internal projector is a weird shape, and it's gonna be really hard to get a good even layer of paint in there. And I have not seen a PN-20 that was painted yellow that had a yellow projector. I might be wrong, I've never seen it, but all the ones in like Madison and that one in Illinois all have a gray projector. So I'm gonna keep that gray just for ease, because I'm getting real tired of making this thing look good. Like, actually, I'm getting bored of it. But I can't wait for this thing to actually come back together and actually work, because the last time this actually did something, it tried to eat itself. Tried to eat its own chopper. So we will see what happens. But yeah, we will get going on some paint for the cabinets. So we're back. I suck at making these videos. I suck at remembering because I get so focused that I forget to do this video, because I think it's really cool seeing the whole restoration. We're getting a new contactor. The older one started to have a lot of pitting on the outside, causing massive arcs, which would have been earlier in this video. And I bought a brand new out of the box 300 amp from the same Contact Industries, I think it's called. There it is. There it is, and there's everything. It's a 24 volt coil, exactly the same how it was before, but it's slightly different. These pins down here are different, and there's no like contactor sensor on the side that, where is it? I pulled it off the old one. This one right here. So say if you have a two-way system and this is being pressed down, we know the contactor is on when this is being pressed down, because it would be on the side here and a little metal thing would press it. I'll put a picture up in the video of the old one. Speaking of whatever this is, these are Wi-Fi relays, or I should say these are Wi-Fi switches that go to relays, and I have something that will control this all that I will be showing in the next clip in a second. But currently I'm replacing the contactor, and soon all of this up here will also be going away because I have a brand new 6-bank charger. So all of this mess will clear out a bunch of space up here for some other stuff. Mainly these Wi-Fi switches and something else that will control this whole thing. So yeah, that's what we're up to. Oh, and I also installed this. I don't know if I put that in the video. So yeah, power strip for power. And yeah, everything's charging. So these chargers are perfectly fine. But the reason I want to get rid of them is because they're not the most reliable. If one of them goes out, then the whole bank is off balanced, and that's not good for, you know, batteries or the siren itself. So yep, we got big changes coming to the controls. I might as well give an update on everything else. Right now, painting's almost done. It's not gonna look the best. I suck at this. My first time doing this, so whatever. It's good enough for who it's for, and who it's for is me. Not quite done on the inside. You can still see some gray popping through. But rotating base and doghouse are both done. And that turned out really nice. And here's what I'm using. I switched to spray paint and cans, but I first had a spray gun with some actual same color XO Rust gloss enamel. But I had it in actual paint, and I had to use some paint thinner, and I put it through an actual air gun to get the big coat on. But now I'm just touching it up with some spray paint. But the makeshift paint room is still up and running. So yeah, that's where we are. I will get back to you whenever I have another update. So I have everything kind of horribly wired in. This will all be put up later. But I indeed did buy an old FC to control the siren. And right now I've got it hooked up. This one's got a built-in receiver. It's an older one. We think it's from the year 1995 to 2000. You don't know. Came from Muscadet, Wisconsin. It's very good still. I haven't gotten it reprogrammed or anything yet, so I'm still using two-tone to test the radio, and it works fine, but I'm not going to do it in this video because, yes, it's tones that are used by a local government still, and we don't do that. I have the antenna mounted back here. Picks up very nicely. And it does work great. So let's test function 3. I think this is fire. So Muscadet's P10, this is what this came off with, had fire programmed into it. One and 2 are cancel. They programmed function 1 and function 2 as cancel, so that should cancel it. And then function 4 was their tornado function, which is alert. Brand new contactor, also working great. Shouldn't do as much arcing, but 72 volts is still no joke. As you can kind of see, a lot of batteries. So. Yep, that's what's going to be controlling this. It will be Wi-Fi controlled using these relays as well. I can't show that in the video because I can't use my phone to also record and do the Wi-Fi relays, but these basically feed power into this little input here, which goes to each function. So if I put 120 to one of the 2 of these pins and short them kind of into the board, I'm probably not saying that right, but you get what I mean. It activates the relay for the function, and yeah, works great. So thank you to Josh Schmerler. You all probably know him, founder of SirenCon. Yes, he came in here and helped me wire a bunch of this in and teach me how this all worked, and I am very thankful for that. So yep, now on to getting a new battery charging system so we can clear some space up here. So that's where this and these 2 things are going to be mounted once this is all kind of cleared out. So yep, that's where we're at. Oh nice, no, it just doesn't want to work. Grow. Alert. Cancel. Attack. Six on, 6 off. Cancel. Good. I'm starting to reassemble it. The rotating base is done in my eyes. There's nothing really much more that I can do other than just spending hours doing the little tiny teeny things that no one's really going to see except me. And because I'm me, it's good enough for who it's for, you know? So There's a little bit of stuff right here that I can see. I don't know if that's picking up on camera. A little dark spot there. But that's okay. I mean, from 10 feet away, you're not going to be able to see that. But yeah, I'm going to start to reassemble it. I got these powder coated and painted. I think I said that before. Motor mount. Here's all the hardware for it. So we're slowly getting this thing back together. All that in there still. The horn and the doghouse still need work. I'm not happy with those. The big horn, the one that goes around the projector here, that had a bunch of paint drip from me learning how to spray with a gun. And yeah, I gotta go and sand all this down now because this was horribly done by me. But I'm just gonna roll a coat of paint on with a roller instead. So yeah, that's what we're up to. It's been a day and I got this much done. Yep, I keep forgetting to record these videos, but chain is on, motor's back on, everything's loosely fit because I didn't know if everything was gonna line up properly. So I gotta tighten everything down now. But gearbox isn't leaking. It is turning. So that's nice. And front bearing, once again, solid. I'm not going to install the chopper yet. I want to run this siren for like 6 minutes without the chopper. Drains the batteries, helps them exercise them, but it also lets me know that everything here is proper. I got to install the support bracket that goes right here, which is weird because I don't see very many other penetrators, or even the other RM130 that I saw didn't even have this weird bracket. It's probably because this is a different gear reducer than on the penetrators. They're a different model. And that's probably why it needs a bracket, which I have right here. So yeah, that's what we're up to. I have to install the brush packs down here. I think I'm only going to install the one for the top, and I'm just going to forget the other two. But yeah, let's just say I had a lot of fun last night destroying my paint, because this chain was a pain in the butt to get on, because it would just keep falling out. So you had to be careful about that. But yep, everything should be working here soon. I'll give you an update in a little bit. Beautiful. I'm gonna, that amperage did not work. Okay, ready?
Yep.
I hear it clunking. Did you hear that at the end?
Yeah, I think that was the chain, maybe.
It shouldn't be that loose. That's pretty tight.
That slowed it way down.
Right? You had both bearings changed out?
Both bearings are
yeah.
changed. Both are new. There's the very slightest amount of play, but you know, when I grab this chopper and I pull it up as much as I can, and then I turn it, there's no rubbing.
Right.
So
I would imagine at high speeds it should be.
it shouldn't, unless it somehow flexes the shaft, which I highly doubt it'll do.
I highly doubt that too, yeah.
So yeah. So it's been a second. I am horrible at recording videos because I get so into it. I have pulled everything out. All the old battery chargers are down here because I am putting in a bank charger. That is a nice burn, by the way. Grease hurts. That's a bank charger. That's going up here. Here's the FC. That's gonna stay up there. Here's our Wi-Fi relays, which have a bunch of extra wire I gotta trim down. But then I just have these plugs that adapt to 2 wires. I go into our relays over here, and then there's a 24 volt and a 120 relay. Right here is a 24 volt. That controls the contactor circuit. And the 120 here just cuts power to the charger when the siren is active. I have basically redesigned this whole thing from the ground up. I pulled almost everything out. There's only a few things that I kept because the last time this was retrofitted with these chargers, because it had old big analog chargers, was I think back in the mid-90s. So when the person that I bought it from did all his custom work, he did a very good job. But since the bank charger literally needs a quarter of what was there, I had to rip everything else out. This charging system still worked. I just wanted to upgrade to a more reliable charging system to keep my batteries from dying. And it gave me room to mount the FC and the 2 Wi-Fi relays. Last night I had everything together, even the contacting circuit, but the cheap Chinese DC to DC converter that I bought, so I need to take 72 volts from the main. I have all my batteries down here. 72 volts from this main switch, and then I have to convert it down to 24 because that's what this contactor circuit is. It's all 24 volts. So I bought a converter off of Amazon for like 20 bucks. 30 seconds into it, it blew up. The capacitor blew up, yeah, white smoke, horrible smell. Turns out the DC to DC converter was bad. It was not my wiring. I double, triple checked. I used my multimeter to check polarity and everything. Nothing was wrong. It was getting normal. It was getting 81 volts, 79 or 81 volts. And that is rated from 40 to 90 volts to step it down to 24 volts for the circuit. So don't buy cheap Chinese stuff if you plan on it lasting longer than 30 seconds, as with everything, literally. So I bought a nice Meanwell DC to DC converter for an extra 20 bucks on Amazon. And so we're gonna have battery charger on top, DC to DC converter on bottom. FC will be over here where everything is, and I'm just trying to tighten everything up, make it nice and neat. And yep, that's where we are right now. And then once this is done, the hard part is done. Then it's just on to paint. I'm still painting. And yep, once painting's done, the project will be basically done. But I do have one extra thing to add. I have been thinking about it, and I think I'm going to be mounting the siren and control box on a trailer so I can test the batteries more often, so these batteries don't go stale, because I cannot test here during normal testing times. I'm not comfortable with it, and nor is my grandparents, who are graciously allowing me to keep the siren on their property. It will only be going off for actual tornado warnings, and you're never guaranteed, you know, enough tornado warnings to stress the batteries during a year. So if I have this on a trailer, I can take it out to an actual site, tornado siren, if that doesn't work, or even one that does work, and just let it off right next to it during normal testing times. You know, all I have to do is hook up the truck and haul it away. So yeah, that's the plan. I'm going to be buying a trailer for the siren carts. I'm going to bolt the siren cart. I'm going to get rid of the carts, get rid of the wheels, and I'm going to bolt it straight down to the trailer. So that is the plan. This will all be eventually mounted on a trailer. It will be more reliable than ever, and this thing is going to punch. Yep, so that's where we're at, and I'll update you. I don't know, because I keep forgetting to make these videos because I suck at it, but yep. See you soon. Take 2 on DC to DC converter. We have a Meanwell, a name brand one instead of some Chinesium. That one blew up. And I just multimetered it. It was given 24. Let's see if it lasts longer than 30 seconds. I don't actually have it hooked up. I'm just making sure that it can take the input. Should be able to. We should be at 81 volts. Which is on the lower end of this range. It takes 72 to like 120 volts DC. It's on the lower end, so it's built to take more. So these capacitors and stuff should not blow up. Which it seems like it's not doing. Okay. I'm gonna hook up the rest of the stuff and see if we have a working siren now. So guys, everything works. I just went through a little bit of testing and figured out that there was one miswire. For the contactor, it's all a 24-volt system, so I have to step it down from 72 and go to 24. So I had the positive on this hooked right up to the positive of this relay. So it would constantly cut power to this, causing this, because I had that switch off, so there was no voltage coming from the batteries. It would cause this to shut off, because it would cut power from this relay. And then once this shut off, this relay shut off. And then once this relay shut off, the power came back on here. And then it just did a loop of turning everything off and on, off and on, off and on. Because I had the positive of this converter accidentally hooked up to the wrong spot there. So it would just be directly hooked up to this. This relay should only activate when the test button is pressed or when the FC activates the siren. As you can see here, cuts power to the charger, and the siren is active. Contactor engages, let off, battery charger turns back on. Now let's test the FC. Let's give it some power and let's arm the other one. Let's go. That's cancel. Boom. Engages the contactor. So this is the Wi-Fi switch that I have. I'm just manually doing it. Amazing. All right, let's do a growl test. Half second. Let's do attack. Six on, six off. I have no idea if... I think it should be okay that the battery charger is turning off and on every 6 seconds. I don't think that does anything. This should stop after 3. I think I'm going to deactivate it manually. And then, of course, I do have radio codes on it. However, I'm not going to show them on video because of reasons. I'm going to test the radio just to make sure the FC is still working properly, which it was earlier, so it should be no different. So let's cancel function number 4. And yep, so I'm going to get this DC to DC converter mounted on the plate and trim up these wires, and we will have a functioning control board for this RM130/PN-20 because it's going to be a PN-20 because it gets PN-20 stickers, ACA stickers. So yep. No white smoke and explosions. I should have recorded it when that Chinesium piece of garbage DC to DC converter literally blew up a capacitor. All I heard was a crack and then white smoke. So I had to wait a little bit for a nicer one to come in. This one's a Meanwell unit, same one as the battery charger. And apparently they use both of these in sirens today, especially T135s. Because they use a similar, over theirs is a 48 volt coil. So they use a 72 to 48. This one uses a 72 to 24. The OM series of sirens, the RM130s, OM120s, they all used a 24 volt coil. And back in the day, they would just run a tap down to the second battery and then the main negative, leading to 24 volts running right to the coil. However, over time, this is what I was told, it generates a slight voltage difference in the first 2 batteries where you're getting 24 volts from, causing a big imbalance of the batteries. And those old battery chargers and even these new ones don't like imbalanced battery systems. So when you put a DC to DC converter, this converter takes all 6 batteries, 72 volts, and converts it to 24, which means it's using all 6 batteries, which means they will never have any discrepancy. If that makes any sense, that is one of the simplest ways I can put it. Instead of only using 2 batteries, it uses all 6, making sure that they all get used equally. That's about it. But other than that, this is what it looks like right now. Testing coming very soon. Full test. And hopefully siren doesn't die and eat itself again. It shouldn't, but yeah, we're gonna find out. Fingers crossed. Alright, got everything wired in correctly now. Looking nice. Let's do a function on the FC. Let's do a quick growl. There we go. I'll pop it into alert just to confirm all functionality. Contactor engaged. Disengage this one. Battery charger is off. Can prove light is off. Green light on the converter. And it is running a 3-minute alert. Yeah, everything's looking green across the board. So guys, I am putting it back together the night before I'm heading over to Preston's, aka Wisconsin Outdoor Sirens. He's allowing me to go out there and test this tomorrow, so we are not completely done painting. There's a little bit of gray showing up, needs a few more layers of paint, but I'm gonna put it all together just without even the paint and no decals. This thing looks really good from afar. There's a little tiny imperfections here and there, but I mean, this thing is gonna be seen from far away most of the time, so a few fingerprints up there that I have to wipe off, but I'm starting to put all the doghouse bolts in now. And yeah, so I'm going over to Preston's place tomorrow, the same place that we tested this and the bearing gave out, shredding the chopper. But after fixing that bearing, the whole thing's been gone through all the way down to just the collector ring assembly. And now it's all back together, ready to be tested tomorrow. So I will see you then.
For this, you'd put it on the 40 or 400?
400. Turn it all the way up as high as you can.
Okay.
We'll see how fast. What kind of meter is that?
It's a Klein CL390.
Okay. We'll see how fast it is at getting that surge current.
Yeah.
Just, yeah, watch it. It's not 10.
How'd you think of that, Preston? Dude, I almost had to have double hearing protection.
Pretty impressive. I like that thing. That thing's awesome.
It's
That's
that high
louder than
pitch.
Alfie's Banshee for sure.
Dude, that high pitch.
Yeah, that high pitch is
Oh,
really
man.
annoying. Oh my god. You hear the echoes though? I tried to run around to get the echo vibe and it was insane.
I had hearing protection on. I really couldn't hear him too well.
You ever just think to yourself, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 batteries all in your basement at the same time charging? Yeah, I don't know why we have this many either. Don't ask. So it's been a little bit since I had the last video. Last video would have been its first test. But today on my channel we've hit 8,000 subscribers. I appreciate you all for that. And I have a little bit of stuff to show you now. I've got everything inside now. During the winter I'm going to store all the batteries inside. It's just better that way. Batteries last longer when they're stored a little warmer. And I'm not going to be bringing in the whole entire board every year. I'm going to make a little makeshift charger where I'll just use all the jumpers, but then two small wires that just connect up to the battery charger. So I just bring the battery charger in, and that's just held in by 4 screws. So all I have to do is bring the battery charger in and make myself a little setup with a 10 amp fuse on it. So I don't have to pull the whole damn control board out every time. But yeah, this control board is fully functional, as you can tell by the test. So what I have here are some laminated copies of the brochure for the PN-20. Let me find a better place to put this. On the chair. Yep, that works. You can see here the brochure. I am trying to find a manual for this. I think I may have found one. However, it has not been scanned yet. And I found out that even though the PN-20 and the RM130, everybody's like, well, it's got to be a 20 horse motor. That is incorrect. They are 8.5 horse motors. They were not 20 horse, and they were never 20 horse. They were 7.5 horse back in the Performance Plus days. But, yeah, I'll go over a whole history video. I will make an entire video on those, the whole history and everything of that. But here's the entire wiring diagram. This is the first one I've ever made. You can see here I've got all the title information there. And we have the entire board and batteries, all this circuitry with a legend on the side so you know what you're looking at. So yeah, all the fuses are labeled, what size they need, and then I went ahead and printed some labels right there. So yeah, if you kind of look at this and look at that, you can kind of see where stuff is. Got the FCH up there. Got your battery charger and DC to DC converter. So that's battery charger, that's the converter. That is up there. And then we also have relays. Those are the 4 relays. And those are right there. Wi-Fi switches, pretty obvious right there. They're over there. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple, easy wiring diagram. It wasn't easy to make. I had to learn a lot of things, but you know, if you're interested in a topic, you'll definitely find a way to learn. And I sure did. So, yep, that's what I've been up to. With the siren itself, I've just been clear coating it now. I'm waiting for clear coat to dry so I can get a few clear coats on. But it should be ready by next year to put some decals on. So after I'm done clear coating, the project is going on pause until spring. Right now it is October 23rd or 24th. I forgot the date. It's also past midnight, so it's probably the next day. So yeah, this is what I've been up to. I also did buy a 200 amp fuse that is coming in soon. So it will be going right here, because I want to keep this as original as I can, and if something ever happens in the head or in the controls here, it'll never allow more than 200 amps to go to the head, so it won't blow up the motor. So yep, that's what I've been up to. Thanks again, guys, for 8,000. I really appreciate it. Can't wait to show you all this soon. Welcome to April. 2 months away from SirenCon. It's the beginning of April, April 9th. And decided to come outside, take the covers off, everything, Controls are doing fine, it just needs some paint job. And the head is also doing fine, but what really I didn't like was I come down here and I see I've got peeling clear coat. No idea why. My guess is that water or something pooled up there over winter and got under the clear coat somehow, and so now it's peeling. So that's an issue. Also, I've got this now. I just did that myself, but all this is still a touch-up. I can get a small paintbrush and fix all this, but this is going to be a harder because it's right under the freaking box here. Along with that, I need to order another arrow that peeled off due to put way too much clear coat on it, and the acid in the clear coat melted away the sticker. So yeah, that's nice. And right now I'm redoing the mesh very poorly, that's for dang sure, but the mesh on this just keeps critters, mainly squirrels, from getting in the motor area here. So yep, everything else looks fine, it's just dirty. All of this down here is dirt. The main plan in the next month or so is to get this head and the controls on that trailer back there. I'm gonna take the walls off the trailer and it's gonna be trailer mounted. So yep, other than that, I probably should have gotten new stainless hardware for this thing, but I said, well, I don't know, give the old stuff a try. So now it's gonna be a nightmare getting out because they're all rusted together, but that's fine. That'll cover it up. And speaking of the doghouse, turned out pretty good. So I made one more thing. I made a big mistake while painting. I decided to use a very dark primer. Rookie mistake. I've never painted before, but that was my mistake. Use the same primer as what's there, like gray primer. And if you know anything about painting, everybody was probably screaming at me in the previous clips of me priming everything with a dark gray color and then painting it with a light color. You'd be smart enough to know that that's dumb. You have to put 50 million coats on because dark will show right through the yellow. And you can actually see at various angles some dark piercing through the yellow, which I have done over 10 coats. At least 10 coats. Albeit lighter coats, but you can see where it's actually yellow and where a little bit of that dark gray is blending in. But you know, you gotta learn one way or another. This was never meant to be completely perfect. But the most important thing is it works. It's not locked up. I don't think it would lock up after a few months. And the rotating assembly here, or I should say the gear reducer, is not leaking. So I did a good job at sealing that up. Battery box, well, there's nothing in here right now. All that's still downstairs. I'm gonna make sure I move this to the trailer first because this thing is insanely heavy. And then once it's on the trailer, I'll do painting and everything. You can see it bubbled up a lot. And my poor decision to not get rid of all the other paint on here has left defects like this. But once again, my focus was on the head, not the controls. People don't look at the controls, they look at the head. But to be honest, if this thing were to go up on a pole right now, you wouldn't be able to tell. So yeah, that's where we're at. I am gonna finish cutting this mesh and then I'm gonna go over to the trailer and start working on that. I'm gonna lay some, right now there's just boards, but I'm gonna lay some plywood down to make it a nice flat surface, and then I'm gonna have some nice big eye bolts where we can strap everything down. I think I'm either gonna bolt or lag screw all of the controls, and then I'm gonna have to build some special little mount for the head cart to mount onto the trailer. But yeah, lots of stuff to do in 2 months. I just needed it to, you know, stop snowing. There was like 30 inches of snow in here 2 weeks ago, and now there's nothing, so that's nice. So yeah, it's now warm enough where we can get back to work on this pretty cool siren. I've been somewhat enjoyed doing it. The least enjoyment I had was painting this, and now I still have to do that. I'm not looking forward to it, but other than that, everything else is going good. Just needs some touch-up and some final work. A little update, a little later in the day now. Went to Menards, picked up some plywood. This is going to sheet over the trailer here. We also took the walls off the trailer. So this is gonna be the trailer that the siren's gonna be sitting on. And yeah, that's really the update. Other than that, I gotta cover the controls back up because there's open spots in them. I don't want water getting in. But now I don't need to cover this up because I fit the doghouse over it now. And everything is looking pretty good. I got the chicken mesh set, and yeah, this should all be ready to go. Head's ready to be set off whenever. It just needs some cosmetic things. And after I get that plywood installed, I've got to get brand new tires for the trailer. Those are dry rotted. That's not going to be cheap, but hey, I got to do it. Otherwise, if we have a blowout on the road, it's not going to be good. There's some dry rot right there. So, yep, got to be fixed. I got to change the bearings on the axle too. And yep, once we cut and install these 2 sheets of plywood, treated plywood, not sheet, $50 a sheet, ridiculous. But yeah, once I get that installed, you can move the controls to the front here. I'm gonna place them sideways so that it's not like a sail dragging down the wind. So the horn, the actual head is gonna be back here, and I got to make it tall enough to clear the wheel wells, otherwise it will hit that. So I got to make a makeshift stand or mount with some like really long bolts, or maybe I'll just do lag screws for that. But the control will set up here, shouldn't have any issues with that. But I'll need to figure out the spacing between the head and the controls, and it's okay if it sticks off if the head sticks off the back a little bit, that's okay. It just can't stick off a certain amount before I have to put like red orange tape on it or something. So yeah, that is where we're at right now. Probably give you an update once this whole trailer is kind of rebuilt. All right, see you then. So guys, a little update. It's been about a week. Last week I discovered that these tires, old tires on the trailer, were dry rotted and very bad. And so I went yesterday, dropped them off at the local shop, asked them if they can pick up some trailer tires, and they did. These are 2 brand new trailer tires, $300, not cheap, but they're really nice. I also did forget to record the entire process of me packing and getting new bearings. I popped the races out, all the old grease is out, and I replaced the rear seal, both bearings, races, and cotter pin. So everything's really nice, and you can even see it here. I set proper preload on this one. Very smooth. It takes a while to stop. So yeah, these are really nice. The deck went well. I don't remember if I said that last time. It's been a bit. And I've got this angle aluminum here. I'm gonna make some battery trays for the control cabinet over there, so when we're driving, the batteries don't hop around. And I have some buckles, nylon straps with buckles, that I am going to wrap around the aluminum so the batteries stay put when they're driving down the road, so they don't crash into each other. But yeah, everything here is good. The trailer is now ready to receive those, which is the next part of the project, is putting those onto the trailer and never having to move them again. All right, see you then. Quick update. Little platform here is made it 10 inches high. At least these guys are 10. This is another 1.5 inches, and this is another 3.5 inches there. So I don't know, 14 inches off the ground to avoid the wheel wells. So when this thing rotates, it goes right over them. I had to take it apart. Easier to lift when it's in part. This little thing, which looks really small, but this thing is loud as shit. I don't know how they do that, but this is a little rack I made for it. It's not installed right now, so you can see I can move it. I will be lag screwing 6 lag screws into the bottom, and then when we're moving, I will also have ratchet straps on top of the siren through the eye bolt, so this thing is not going anywhere. But before we can permanently install it, I need to find out where I put it, because it needs to clear the controls, which are also permanently mounted now using 6 lag bolts. It's now part of the trailer. So this is where we're at right now. I made a mess, but soon here we will actually have this thing mounted. I also earlier removed a chunk of skin from my finger, which I will not be showing because it's nasty. And this piece of Chinesium garbage, this was the junction box that took that 4-gauge wire and converted it to my 2-gauge, whatever this is. I think this is number 2. And I was using an Allen wrench, and these were corroded already, which concerns me. These are where I take the 4-gauge to 2-gauge and vice versa. One for positive, one for negative lead. And yeah, these were very stuck, and when I broke loose, it slipped really hard right into a sharp piece of plastic on that white box and cut my finger open. But I'm okay, and I'm still been working ever since. Another thing is, I made this bird mesh that's not gonna work, but I was dumb and threw out the old mesh that this had. I don't know why I did that, so I made custom mesh. Other than that, everything else is looking good. I greased up the main bearing. I totally forgot to do that, so I threw some marine grease in it, because that's what I have. Doesn't matter what you put in it, as long as it's got lubrication. And she is still free. Still making noise. So, yep, we're gonna put this on there. Then we're gonna put the horn back on. And see how much room we need. I'm guaranteeing you this is gonna stick off the back a little bit, which is fine as long as it's a certain amount. And if it does get to a certain amount, then we have to put a flag on it, and I have no idea how I'm gonna attach that. Maybe just run it through the mesh on the horn. But yeah, that's what we're gonna do. I think, yeah, from there I will update you guys later today, probably, once I get that the main body of the siren on, because we got storms coming. Not too severe, but yeah. Speaking of it, just last Friday, so 6 days ago, we had the Ringgold tornado that came through, dropped an F3 about 4 miles that way. 4 miles that way. Yep. We do not need any more severe storms right now. There's families recovering, and definitely got to pray for those guys, because I drove through there Tuesday and it was bad. So, yep, I'll give you guys an update in a bit. See you then. Alright.
Are those wires gonna drag by my feet, or?
They'll hang off the side.
Okay.
Down. Gonna take a ride. Good one. Okay. You wanna go down here and take a break? Just be careful of the yellow down there. I'd like to not paint up any more scratches. If you wanna hop up, so we're up here. Kind of stand a little bit more center for gravity, because we don't want this tipping.
Yeah. So we're just going to take it like
Right up. Got her? Okay, let her down. There you go. Oh, she's going clear. Feels fine.
with the horn on.
I gotta mount the siren first. Heck yeah.
To help move it.
No, maybe a little bit.
Okay, good.
But look at how much area I have to work under there now.
Oh yeah.
You can see that under there. See, I gotta match up all the. Can you see my camera? See all those holes down there? That's gotta be matched up with the. So I'm gonna have to shimmy it. So.
Oh, you're gonna grease that fitting too, right?
I already did grease it. Yeah. All right. She's up. So welcome to the underside of a penetrator. Yep, pretty boring. But you can see the two red wires, main leads, positive and negative, that go straight up in. Sprocket over there. And I only had 2 bolts in before, so I went and did some fixing to these bars here. I forget what these are called, but did that to make room for all 4. So now I have 4 bolts in, which is much better than 2 for going down the highway. It'll be plenty. This isn't up on a 40-foot pole in the air. it'll be fine. But yeah, this is what it looks underneath here. Not too special. But yeah, this little platform that I made was perfect for anything I needed to do under here. So that's cool. I'll see you soon. Little update, it's a few days later. I am just now tightening the nuts and bolts for the battery holders. Down here I realized I can't really make any unless I drilled and tapped through the bottom. I don't really want to do that, so I'm just going to use big wood blocks, cut them to size as shims so they can't really wiggle around down here while we're driving. Up here I still have these in place, and I'm going to use straps. I got straps to hold those down. It is a really freaking windy day and it keeps bending my door open here. Gosh dang, but I'm hoping by tomorrow that I have everything ready, and we're gonna take this out to Wood County, out in the middle of nowhere, Grand Rapids, next to a T128, and let this rip with it, and give it a full systems test again, but fully on the trailer. So we'll see how that goes. I'll keep you updated. There she goes. I don't know if you guys heard that or not. Probably noise suppression. I can give her one more. I don't want her to do too much, those small growls leave pits in the contactor, so. Alright. Set her down. But yeah. So, and we just did a growl test. You'll see that in the past clip. So I'm getting all these ready, got all the batteries in now. This is boring, done this so many different times, but my little supports did work. So now I've got this strap and buckle. It's gonna go around the whole battery and strap it down. Down here is difficult. What I think I'm gonna do for now is just put big blocks of wood and shim them so, you know, well into place that they just really don't move. I'm just worried about them up and down movement. That may not be a big thing, but we'll see. Little grandpa coming out. He's the one who recorded that video for me while I was on Discord call with everybody. But yep, everything's installed. What happened in the last clip was that I didn't have this button pressed in all the way, so it wasn't allowing the contactor to close. But everything's live. Once I push this up, I can turn the dang thing on. But this is where we're at. I'm gonna make some straps, and yeah, I'm gonna crack them up and do. Cheers. It's been about a half an hour after the last video. Battery cabinets, I made some buckles for the batteries, which I can show you right now. See those top three have buckles on them. That stops those from going up and down, and a little bit side to side. The bottom ones I have still yet to cut some shims out with them. Close that up. But right now I am working on a securing method for all the excess wire that I now have. And so I've got some coax holders, NM cable staples. Those are staples. What? I've been using a hammer to hammer those guys in, but yeah. Hammers these guys in, just keeps them nice and separated, and then I've got to just use cable ties and just put these together, zip ties, and then I have to hold some of this looser stuff down. So yeah, we'll see. That's what we're working on right now. So I'll see you soon. So guys, it's the next morning. Still planning on going to the test. Wood County tests in the rain, so even if they don't test, we got to test the trailer out. I'm cutting some shims here. I got some 4x4s here, and I'm going to cut some smaller 2x4s to shim back there. And then I've actually got some wooden shims that I'm going to cut to length to make sure everything's tight. Like this block right here is loose. This one's tight. This one's loose, so I got to cut some shims, smaller shims for those. But first I got to make sure I can cut some 2x4s and shim those gaps up over here so they don't move side to side. They shouldn't even that much right now, but still need something there. So yeah, I'll see you soon. First movement of the trailer. It's been a second, but looks like she's doing pretty good. Brakes work, new bearings are doing good. lights work, all that. We are gonna go take it for a drive, make sure everything's good. It's about 10 o'clock. The test isn't until 1:30 and we got about an hour drive. So they should test in this rain, and I think the rain might even be over by the time testing time starts. So yeah, everything looks really good. That strap's a little loose, but I think it'll be fine. It's not feeling wrong or anything pulling behind, right? Nothing feels weird in the truck? Okay, good. That means the bearings are seated properly and whatever. But we gotta go fast in order to figure that out. All right. So here we are set up under a T128. That should be going off in about 15 minutes. Once that goes off, we'll let this rip. And then once that shuts off, we'll shut this off. FC is working. I just have to hit my main contactor switch and she'll be live. So yep, we'll get ready for that soon. Unfortunately, it is raining a little too hard, so I'm not gonna be able to get like a proper video. I'll probably just get a phone video, but we will see what happens. Smoking. One of the batteries is smoking. Not good, not good. One of the batteries is smoking. Unless that's just the terminal spray burning up because there was...
Well, I heard it go off.
I don't know why it wouldn't cancel.
Got hot.
It's possible terminal spray got hot, but I didn't hear any... It would have shut the siren up if a battery exploded. I don't know why it didn't want to cancel. So we just did our test. My SC was not listening to my cancel. It activated for my alert, did not listen to my cancel. But instead, I think I was just fat fingering buttons. I was just so nervous at the time that I just ran up here and shut the switch off instead, which means that FC is going to activate the next time it gets power, which means I got to be careful. I have the main contactor switch off though, so it should not do anything. But we did have an issue. When I came up here, I saw smoke coming out of the battery cabinet. Well, it turns out some of my battery terminals in here that I had tightened down yesterday came loose during transit, and I had sprayed some battery terminal protector on them, and one of them burnt up because it was a loose connection. So I need to make sure those connections are tight next time. Get some lock nuts on those instead of just normal nuts like that, or maybe some Loctite. But it was making bad contact, causing it to build heat, which actually caused that to burn up and actually create a little bit of smoke. But thankfully, it did not start a fire. Test wasn't long enough to really do that. It's about a minute long. And I've also noticed another issue. As it was rotating, it got really easy to rotate. So I need to hit the tensioner up, or I have to tighten my chain up on the bottom by getting rid of a link. Unfortunate, but that's why we do these things before SirenCon. We need to make sure everything's working. The county tested right on time today, surprisingly, and this T128 went, and 10 seconds after, it didn't listen to my first time, because I think I got also too excited, but it listened to my second activation I gave it, and did really well. The head's fine, no smoking, no dust, just the batteries. And I know what the issue is, and the battery should be okay. It's just the terminal needs to be cleaned up and tightened. So yeah, we're gonna head home now, and we'll begin work on that later. It's too cold and rainy today. I just want to go home and eat. You guys want to see what 72 volts does to a loose connector? No wonder there was smoke. Wow, that sucker is welded. Really hope it didn't melt it. It very well might have actually melted this cable. Although the cable actually looks really good still. It's just this connector that doesn't look the best. But all of my freaking connections came loose during transport. So I just need to, from now on, bring a wrench. And every time I want to set this off another location, I need to make sure to tighten the terminals up, because that is not good. Thankfully, it only happened to one terminal. And so what was happening, it was jumping, arcing, and when the siren was going off, and it caused a lot of heat and burned away this spray I put on. This is anti-corrosion spray. And had smoke coming out of here when I walked up to the cabinet to turn the switch off. And yeah, thank gosh it's just a simple fix, as in just make sure you're tightening your crap down all the way, which I should have been more aware of that. I knew they were loose when I came there, because I checked the battery connections, but I didn't have a wrench to tighten them down. So I'm like, all right, send it. Well, that wasn't the best idea, but they should be fine still. I think the batteries should be fine. I should definitely check voltage on the batteries, and I will in a second. That's the first time they've been stressed since last September or October. So yeah, they did well, and we'll see what happens from now on. For now, I have to do a bunch of cosmetic stuff, and I'm gonna have to bring some freaking like paint or stuff to SirenCon, because I'm gonna wear holes through this like nothing. Got a bunch of scratch marks here in the clear, and some wore all the way down to the paint. So I got a bunch of stuff to do. I got to put decals on yet. But yeah, just a bunch of touch-up stuff. The siren works fine. The head worked fine. Nothing melted there. Just the only connector that gave me trouble was that guy back here. It scared the crap out of me, but it all works. So that's good. I will see you when I have another update. I took the cable off that was causing the arcing, and from what I can tell is the wire itself is not melted, but the guard here is melted. I believe if I just clean off all this crap here, it'll be fine, and then get some new retaining hardware for that guy, and then clean up that spot. But it's not melted down here or anywhere along this wire. It just got really hot right here. You can see where the wire is under there. I don't know if that's a bad thing, if I need to replace this cable or not, but we'll see. The other end, there's no other spots where it got hot. It was just that one guy. So I just tightened them down again, and I'll leave a wrench in here for next time, so that does not happen again. But other than that, everything looks green, and I'll give you another update. So guys, it's been a little bit. We are officially gonna make this thing actually look good. Unfortunately, my new arrows are a little bit smaller than they should have been, and it looks like they're peeling off a little bit too. I've been having so much trouble with decals that I've just kind of given up on the looks of this. You can see I even got some overspray on that sticker. I don't care at this point, as long as it looks good from a distance. I don't care what people think. It's good enough for who it's for. But I'm gonna be spraying some Oh, I didn't even notice that. Look at the lines in that one. Yeah, not the best. I'm gonna have to spray some clear over that, but I'm gonna tape it up first, spraying some yellow along the edges to make that look not as dumb. But on the controls, I have some nicer decals that I have put one of the ACA stickers on. And it is not turning out very nice for me. Once again, these stickers have been giving me so much trouble, and it's really starting to piss me off. I can't do this with one hand, but as you can see, the bubbles, they don't go away. And the paint is just horrible. I'm not even sure what to think anymore, but it's good enough for who it's for. Just peel half of the freaking thing off. Okay. Yeah, look at that. Half the thing didn't even apply, so, yep. Yeah, no. I think it turned out like garbage. Paint is horrible. You can see the outline of the sticker. And I think it's crooked. But that might just be because the whole trailer is tilted too. But I'm not good at any detail thing. I suck at this. And I don't care what people think. It's my fucking siren. Excuse my language, but I don't have enough time. I've got a life. I've got a job. I can't get this looking perfect. It doesn't need to be. It just needs to work and look somewhat decent from a distance. So, yeah. I'm just not happy with the decals. I mean, the decals are good, but I have no idea how the frick to put them on properly. I've even measured it out using a freaking drywall square. Found the center, and still it doesn't look good. So, I don't know. I've tried the credit card trick. And, yeah, it just doesn't want to work out, so I'm just gonna put the rest of them on and say screw it, because honestly at this point I don't know what else to do. So yeah, see you then. Well guys, there she is. This is basically the finished project. It is currently, 2 weeks out from SirenCon. It is May 19th, so we're getting there. Just finished up the decals, and Jesus, it makes this look a lot better. Proper decals. And the hardest ones, these guys, the center, and then I looked at pictures and they're like, well, they don't ride along the center of the horn through the center of the decal, otherwise it'd be way down here. They actually ride the center at the bottom of the decal and then they go up. That's at least what I saw in the pictures. I'm pretty sure these are both pretty close. So yeah, the only bad thing is I don't think that ear protection sticker is the finest placement. ACA sticker is fine, but yeah, other than that, it makes it look a lot more alive. The freaking bland yellow with nothing on it. But yeah, this side looks amazing. Controls turned out pretty good too. Just ignore that paint drip right there through the ear protection sticker. That's not there. This was a little off-centered, but still is, and it's going to stay that way. And you know, just normal paint stuff going on here. Yep. No, none of that. Yep. Perfect fitment on that one. Yep. That is perfect. But literally, aside from that small little detail, this is ready to be sounded, ready to go. And next Monday I have something in planned. I'm going to be going to a Marathon County test here, and we're bringing this out to a site. We're gonna let it go, fully decaled, and we're gonna stress the batteries one last time, stress the whole system, make sure nothing's gonna burn a dang jumper cable this time. I want to make sure everything's tightened down before I test. And yeah, everything is about done. One other thing I forgot to add is there's going to be an SWS sticker right there, right below the tag. So yep, that will be the finished product. See you guys soon. So, another quick update here before SirenCon. It is Monday. I just took this out to the local siren, tested it one last time. Test went great, but when I came home, one of these bolts was missing. And I got very lucky that the bolt was either heavy enough or something that it fell out and didn't get eaten by the chopper. Like, very lucky. It's sitting right there. I should have seen it coming, maybe. I thought these threads would be a lot more secure, but I'm going to be putting lock nuts on each one of these from the back to make sure that never happens again. So it's going to look a little different from a normal PN-20 or RM130 in that way, but I have to do that for safety, otherwise I will kill this thing. If it eats a bolt or something like that, it will damage the chopper. So I'm gonna grab some lock nuts. I gotta unfortunately take the horn off, which means scarring the dang surface where I painted it nicely, but if I'm careful, I should be fine. So yeah, we'll see. I'm just glad I found this now, and this is why we do testing before the main shit happens. But yeah, I'm gonna be taking this horn off in a second and going on a hardware run to get some new nuts, because those that's a little scary. Very surprised I didn't do anything. So all right, I will be back. Probably, honestly, the next video is going to be us loading up and taking off the SirenCon. Thursday I have to go grab a certain special siren that you will see in the next clip. So yep, see you then. Now this is a sight never thought I'd see in my life. Once again, dang arrows are fading again. Yeah, get better ones, but that might just stay as is. But that is okay. And now I will strap these guys down, pack up, and we're up to SirenCon. See you then. Arrived in Rylander. Gonna be in the scout camp in a few. Got that back there still. So yep, see you soon.
Here.
Why do they do that even though they were told?
I'm just glad those kids aren't like counting down like they are.
Quit counting down, bro. Come on, bro.
So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. It took me a while to make. I apologize for not getting every little part here and there, but I think this is one of the better refurbishment videos on YouTube. You know, it kind of guided me from the first day I bought it all the way up until SirenCon this year. in the last part here, I'll even add a little clip of this thing going off last week for a tornado warning. First time I ever activated it remotely. I was over in Oshkosh chasing storms, and last Monday, Wausau went under a tornado warning, and I activated it. I only got it a doorbell audio, so it'll be a little clip here. But that was really cool. It made my day when I heard this thing going off in doorbell audio, and I only let it go for a minute because I didn't want to piss my neighbors off too much. But no complaints. It went off during an actual tornado warning. Nobody seemed to care. So yeah, this thing works great. Once again, I want to thank everybody who helped, and yeah, I hope you guys once again enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comments. I'm wide open to any questions you guys have, especially because there's so much more to this project I couldn't add to the video, otherwise it'd be insanely long. But I do eventually want to make a video on the history of the Performance Plus and PN-20 RM130s, same siren-ish. Performance Plus is a little different. But I really do want to start a series on the history of siren systems and siren types. However, types might be a little bit harder, but I'd like to go over like the history of Wausau, and then maybe we can go, I got a bunch of buddies down in Milwaukee, do the history of the Milwaukee system. I think that'd be really cool. So let me know what you guys think. Once again, thank you for watching the video. See you next Friday.